Behind me is a 2017 GTR, and this is the first episode of a new series where we talk about what makes cars special. With me here is Dan, and this series is called Owner Review. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Dan, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So thanks for bringing your GTR. Dude, this thing looks beautiful. How long have you had it?
6 years.
6 years?
It's been a while. Yeah.
And have you modded it at all since in those 6 years?
Oh yeah, bought it bone stock with 2,000 miles. It's full bolt time, so intakes, injectors, downpipes, and a full straight pipe exhaust. It's tuned on Ecutech by Sean Ivey in Jersey. Puts out 565s to all four wheel.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
so have you dynoed it, or is that kind of like based on what other people have gotten?
Yeah, it's dynoed, yep.
It's dynoed?
Dyno jet, all-wheel drive dyno jet.
Whoa,
on 19 pounds of boost. So it's a stock turbo, stock trans, stock engine setup. So it's on pump, by the way, 93.
93,
So not 85, so it could make low 600s.
It's
on 85.
Do you need to change anything else to actually put it on E85, or is it good with just the mods it has?
The injectors are good for that. It's I believe it's 1050X injectors. With 85, you do need the sensor and also fuel pumps. But I don't do that because I travel a lot, so I don't want the 85 to sit. So pump is the best setup for me.
That makes sense.
But the car is already really fast.
It's literally the same thing with me. If you guys seen the Mustang on the channel, that's still on 93. Even though I do have the 85 tune, I haven't flashed it just because it's so inconvenient for me right now, since I don't have a truck to tow the car to the track. It just makes more sense on 93 as like a day-to-day thing. It's still a lot of fun, still plenty of horsepower, but you always have that capability in the future. You talked about a lot of interesting mods on this a second ago. Let's start with the exhaust. There's something special with the exhaust here. You had an exhaust and then got rid of it. What's the deal with that? What happened to that last exhaust that you didn't like?
All right, well, you know me. I love my cars as loud as possible. So when I first got the car, I kind of fell for the marketing ploy of social media. So I don't want to say anything bad, but I got an Army Tricks exhaust and I paid a lot for that. And it just didn't really perform as I wanted. So a lot of my friends in the car club, Northeast Drivers Club, by the way, they all have
represent.
They all had GTRs, dozens of them, and they would drive by, and I'm like, "What exhaust do you have?" And I ended up going with I think it's GT House. It's a German exhaust, Meisterschaft, and I did my research. That's the loudest possible exhaust. Like that, one of the loudest exhausts you can buy. But I did the research, and it's actually the most straight flowing. So I got that exhaust, and then I got the car retuned and added another like 10 to 12 to the wheels.
Whoa!
Just from a
just from having more flow through the exhaust.
More flow. And the car, and it's way louder. It sounds better. It screams top end. It's more deep pitched. And I'm really happy with it. So.
That's cool. And then I've seen one time, so if you guys ever saw that video, whenever he took delivery of his GTR in the same area right here, because it used to be in Jersey, he got it shipped down here. We made a video, you should see it, it's in my shorts, of him getting the GTR delivered. And in that video, you actually seemed like you flashed a tune with your phone. That's something like I've never seen that before. Can you tell me about that? Like, how does that work?
So actually, before I was on a Cobb tune, which is great, but Ecutech has a lot more functionality.
Did you have the access port? Is that or is it something else?
It's all the access port. And so there's an app, Ecutech, and then that connects, with your Bluetooth to your car. So
that's wild, dude. Because that's not even available for Mustang.
Ecutech's amazing because I can switch different maps. I can do it like through the car itself or on the app. I have a Godzilla mode, so I can shoot fire and do
so the Godzilla mode is shooting flames.
It's not the best for the car. It's only for camera. And then I can also data log on the car. So if I can do a bunch of pulls, and then I can send over the data to my tuner and take a look at it and see if everything is ready. So and then also there's just a ton of data points on the app. Like that's all in real time. So as you're driving, you can look at it. And see like how the car's performing and everything. It's really cool.
Dude, that's something super unique. So that's the main thing of what I want to do in this owner review series is talk about the things that you wouldn't typically see on a spec sheet. You can see horsepower, you can see dyno numbers, you can see all types of things online just by easily Googling it, but there's a few things that you can't just find with an easy Google. I'll give you a perfect example. On the last video you saw in my car how I pointed out that the hood has specific turn signals on the lights. You don't get that on all the other year Mustangs. That was specific to 2016, and on top of that, in the 2016 Mustang, you can actually add Apple CarPlay even though it didn't come from the factory. So every car has something special, and that's what we're trying to do here. All right, So now introducing my buddy Jake. He is a 6-time SCCA champion. Dude, you actually have more experience than anyone else driving all these cars. What do you think about driving this car?
I think the car is absolutely incredible. From the power to the power to weight ratio, the way that it turns. I mean, the fact that it can tell itself on a turn where to distribute all the weight, and just the fact that it's a supercar, but it's one of the most comfortable cars you'll drive as well.
Yeah.
So it's just an all-around, just amazing produced vehicle.
Yeah, and so this car in particular, I think is special because the GTR, when it originally came out, it was one of the first cars with a dual clutch transmission, right?
Yes.
So what does that actually mean for someone who doesn't know what a dual clutch is? Like, what is a dual clutch? Why do you have more than one clutch per se?
So pretty much the dual clutch is, it has 2 clutches. And so one clutch opens or closes so that the other one could open.
Okay.
So you don't need the actual clutch.
Okay.
And you could just shift, and it's, you know, incredibly faster than having a manual car.
And on a track, why is that better?
Because there's just more time for braking, you know, apexing.
Okay.
And also the shifting points, you're just focused on that instead of having a clutch. And also the heel toe, which takes a lot of people a lot of time to get used to.
Yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, obviously,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I know personally me. You guys have seen my footage at Sebring. I'm very new to driving. This guy's way better than me at driving. But I will say that as far as when it comes to like advanced techniques like heel toe, I still don't even do that just because it is so complicated. You guys know that. My Mustang's a 2016, and back then, they actually didn't have auto rev matching. That was only whenever they did the mid-cycle refresh in 2018. So even though it doesn't have that, I think that is actually one of the things that makes the Mustang special, specifically in my year, because it makes it more of a driver's car. So actually for me, I enjoy that it doesn't have that basically nanny that makes it easier for you. But on the other hand, with these dual clutch transmissions, it's just so incredibly faster. So if you're going for times, if you're going to like actually like set new times on a track, obviously the dual clutch is going to be better, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And then another thing that is like way different from this car compared to either a Mustang or even a Miata is this car is all-wheel drive, right? And there's a difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, right? There's like, what is that difference?
So the difference between it is that it can, like I was saying with the computer system, it could tell itself where it needs the power. So if it needs more in the front, it'll send it to the front.
Whoa, that's really interesting.
And then if it needs more in the back, it'll send it to the back.
That's really cool.
And another point that we were getting at was, so for the dual clutch, so that is in, you know, say like the IMSA series and other things that are all just paddle shifts now.
Yeah.
A lot of it is you have more time to get into the braking zone and also trail brake through because you're left foot braking, which is another thing that takes a lot of time for people to get used to.
Yeah, I've never even tried that, to be honest.
But you could be, you know, on the brake and on the gas going through the turn.
So why would you want to be on brake and gas at the same time? Isn't that kind of like counterintuitive, no?
Because the car is still getting the force, but you're still moving it forward.
Oh, I see.
So you're just kind of, you know, lightly on, or you're just fully off.
Oh, so is that to like shift the weight forward so that the front wheels get more traction on the turn?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you trail brake through, so you're kind of still braking, and then you're already pretty much on the gas as soon as you come out, apex it.
So you guys know that whenever I had come off the track, I actually slid a little bit. Some of you guys were saying it's a drift. Some of you were saying it's a slide. Whatever you call it, it ended up putting me perfectly into that straightaway after turn 5, which is lucky for me that ended up working out. But I know that trail braking is actually a really advanced technique, and I'm gonna need some more practice. And you know what I just remembered is you actually have a sim, right? It's like a really high-end sim.
Yeah, all Fanatic.
Okay.
So, you know, the full setup, the wheelbase. I have a carbon Formula 1 steering wheel.
Yeah.
I have a GT wheel.
Wow.
The Fanatic shifter that could be sequential or H pattern.
Yeah.
Or I could do paddles. And then everything in it is very realistic.
Yeah.
I prefer to use iRacing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the most realistic out of all of them.
Yeah.
You also race against people all around the world. But it's so incredibly realistic that every time before I'm going to a track I've never done or maybe haven't been to in a while, or just because I don't practice every day, it's so realistic that you could feel the difference of every car, the way it drives.
Yeah.
If you're doing a manual car, you start grinding the gears, you could feel it. and then you could reset, and then it goes back.
What's really funny is back whenever we were at Sebring in the last video, if you guys saw that video, there was one car, I can't remember if it was an S2000 or something of the sort, but they were flying by. And after our session, I came up to him and I was like, dude, you're fast as hell. Like, how did you do? And he's like, actually, this is my first day on this track. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I've got hundreds of hours of sim racing, but this is my first time on this track. And actually, that sim racing makes a huge difference. You actually get really accurate results compared to real life. And I think that's something that's really cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even Max Verstappen's on iRacing, Fernando
Really?
Alonso,
Oh, that's cool. So you can race some of the pros.
like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
Like there's all types of, you know.
Yeah, you know what I think would be really interesting? You obviously have tons of experience racing. You've had multiple 6-hour races on top of just hundreds of other SCCA races, right?
Yeah, I've had close to 100 podiums. I've won 6 championships.
That's incredible. So I think for a future video, if you're open to it, maybe we should do sim racing amateur versus semi-pro. You know, I've never done sim racing before, and I've only had like 3 track days. So I think that'd be a pretty interesting video. What do you say we do that?
Absolutely.
Sweet. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and start driving this car. We're gonna get Dan to let us know what he thinks, what's special about the interior of it, and then we're gonna have Jake drive the car. He's gonna tell us how it performs, how it feels, and that is our review. So let's get right into it. Yeah, so what are these modes here?
Yep, so that's with the transmission, suspension, and then just like the slip.
Okay.
So I keep this just off because it's gonna allow more slip and I don't want to spin out.
Okay.
But this essentially makes the car shift more aggressively.
Okay.
And then this kind of stiffens the whole ride of the car. So
okay.
when you corner, when you kind of get more rough, the car is more planted.
Yeah.
Essentially. So.
Dang, that's really cool.
Yeah, so now it's on R mode on the first 2. So you'll feel it when I take off.
Yeah.
I'll do a little pull. I'm on high boost right now. So.
Oh, you just switched it to high boost?
So pretty much I can adjust the boost.
With your steering wheel?
Right there. Yep.
Dude, that is so convenient.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this next pull is high boost then.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude. And that was with 3 people in the car.
Yeah, 3 people in the car.
Jake's back there. Is it comfortable back there? Yeah? Yeah? You got enough headroom? All right.
And then it connects to my phone.
Wait, so you can do it while you're driving then?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So watch. Go to custom inputs, and then the flame mode. It's my downshift.
It's on flame mode right now?
Yeah, so I'm gonna drop the boost.
Oh my gosh, bro. Dude, people are gonna think there's like gunshots in the neighborhood.
And then back to regular mode.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And you just did that on your phone.
Yeah.
Whenever we were doing the pull, you noticed, because you were in the back, the weight transfer. What was that about?
So in the GTRs, since they're all-wheel drive, and it's just a track machine like I was saying before. So when we did that pull, we took off and I was in the back seat. You could actually feel, because it got a little squirrely, all the weight just went straight to the back because that's where it needed it the most. So the traction was already in the front, and then it just sent it straight to the back, and that's when we were just...
Wow, so it can actually pull power from the front wheels sent to the back wheels? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then you were telling me something earlier about how the weight of this car is actually on purpose, because it's a pretty heavy car. It's like over 4,000 pounds. How much is it?
4,000 pounds, yeah.
Yeah.
For us, it's like 46 probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the gentleman who built the GTR, he felt that more weight in the car made him, stick to the road better.
Okay.
And that's why he made this so much heavier, but he also made it such a track monster that the weight didn't matter. But that's also why it needs the weight distribution.
Oh, okay.
So that it can move the weight around when needed.
Yeah.
On different tracks and different, turns and in a straight line, obviously.
Dang, that's really cool. All right, it's cool. So let's go ahead and drive it. And even though there's 2 people in the car, I'm sure you've already driven a GTR before, so you can kind of tell us about how it feels in comparison to other cars.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed immediately was the smell. It smells great.
Oh yeah.
At least I think it smells good. Yeah, whenever we were in the car with Gigi on the way here and we were behind you guys, I was like, man, it smells good. And Gigi's like, I don't like it. Because girls never like the smell of cars.
She hates the smell, she hates the sound, it's too loud.
To me, it reminds me of having fun. That's why I think that's why I like it, because I associate it with like fun.
Oh yeah. Is that low boost?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Does it feel even crazier back there?
It's crazy back here.
So from driving in a sim and driving in real life a GTR, what are some differences that you might notice?
Well, in my opinion, the simulators, when you get the correct ones, like I have,
Yeah.
it feels very much like the car.
Yeah.
The only difference is if you get the ones that have the full motion, so you can still feel the G-forces. But with mine, every car is different.
Yo, this Durango's gonna get mad. So you're saying it feels different, or it feels the same, basically?
Yeah, so when you have, the right technology behind the simulators, that's one of the biggest things, is that it's supposed to be very realistic.
Yeah.
Like on my simulator, every car feels different. You could feel the complete difference between driving a GTR to a prototype to a Miata to an open wheel. Everything is very different.
Since you don't have the actual feeling from like the weight transferring, does that make you like dizzy at all?
No. You have to be used to something like that. Like, from racing, I'm very, used to all the G-forces and everything else. So if you're getting into racing, yes, it is going to be very different than being on a sim because...
Well, I'm saying like on the sim, do you feel... Oh, I hear some of the brakes squeaking, but that's actually on purpose though, right? Because these are carbon ceramic brakes from the factory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not?
They're steel.
Oh, they're
Oh, these
steel.
are?
Yeah.
I did see that they were 2-piece though.
The Nismos, they come with carbon ceramics.
Oh, okay.
That's like
Sure.
double the price.
Oh, wow.
Should I turn up the boost or should I?
Yeah, you can turn up the boost. Yeah. All the way until it's 19.
Is that it?
Yeah, now you're 19.
All right.
So now we're at like 560 something mil. Just watch out for that, those cars.
And you feel the weight transfer.
Yeah.
I can feel it too. It feels completely different in the back.
Oh yeah, it's because you can feel the weight
That's what she said.
being shifted.
We're done shooting.
It's actually what I was gonna say before was, so when you get into racing, it's a lot more physically demanding than you would expect.
You love that.
I was barely.
Yeah, I was barely.
You weren't even trying?
No.
No.
Oh my god.
I could get it sideways through the whole turn.
Dude, I thought I was gonna fly out of the car.
What's crazy is like, so it's all-wheel drive. Even the all-wheel drive cars can go like sideways like that.
Oh yeah.
Because I know in my car, you tap the throttle at all in a turn, it'll go sideways. But I know on the Tesla, dude, those things are, they basically, they literally drive themselves. But even when you're driving it, you can like yank the steering wheel and it'll just stick the whole time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
I guess those traction systems are just so smart. They know exactly how much power to send to each wheel.
exactly.
It'll like trick you to think you're a good driver. Is this part of a package or is that included in the car, Dan?
All included.
Really?
The red fan was for my friend.
There you go. Is this the turbo?
It's the turbo, man.
Wow.
It's the third turbo for the car.
Yeah. People love the car.
Yeah. Okay, when you did that turn at the circle, I could feel the stability kicking in.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to feel it from the back. Like bad. Shut up.
No, I get you.
You want me to-
All right, so that's basically it for this video. I am super nauseous from trying to film and also trying to talk on camera. So we'll see you guys on the next one.